All right, how are you today? I'm super excited to talk to you about a very passionate topic that I have. And when you think about the word metaverse, what comes to your mind? Games, gaming. My nephew, Malcolm, is about 6 years old, and he says, Uncle Jojo, give me some Roblox. That's his definition of the metaverse. But I'm here to tell you, we at Autonomous think it's so much more than that. If you can recall what happened on January 29th, 2020, the world was calm. Everything was great. We were super excited about the future. We had just got done with New Year's Eve, and everyone was talking about all the great things they're going to do and they're going to accomplish. And then everything changed. You had schools with no children. You had airports with no passengers. You had tourist destinations, but no tourism. But we said, that's okay. We got you. We're tech. We go to all these conferences. Don't worry. When the world stopped moving, we're digital. All these buzzwords we talked about. Next generation collaboration, agility. And what do? When the world couldn't move, we in the tech community said, we'll replace a hello with you're on mute. No, you're on mute. No, you're on mute, right? That's what we gave to the world. And when you think about the cost, what's at stake for us, whether it's the $4 trillion that was caused by COVID, or whether it's the 6 months to 2 years of education lost by children, or the 39% increase in mental health, it is so much more. The metaverse, it's not a game to us. The metaverse represents our ability to keep moving, to connect, to live, to love, to be human. That's what it represents for Autonomous. And if you think about the examples that exist in the world today, Eternal Notre Dame, the beautiful church, beautiful building. And then what happened? It was a fire. And they struggle with, how do we still bring this experience? Don't worry. They created a metaverse-like experience, allowing people to engage and be able to participate in that church still while it was constructing, and actually pay for 30% of it. Travis Scott, in the middle of COVID, at his peak, said, hey, I want to do a concert. 250,000 people is the maximum location space you can find at a stadium. But what happened? He took that concept and connecting, went on the Fortnite, and all of a sudden, he was able to connect 27 million people participated in that event. And if you bring something even more closer to home and closer to our heart, many of you have heard of the line. The futuristic city, 170 kilometers long, 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide. The same footprint, 9 million residents in a footprint of 2% the size of a normal city. Well, how are we using the metaverse in that sense? We made a commitment. We said 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, you'll be able to get to whatever core location you need to. How do we know it's 5 minutes? Well, because we've walked in it. We've done it. Well, sorta. We've used metaverse-based technologies to model that and to ensure that our commitments are kept. And when you think beyond that, you think about Neom being the first multiverse city, merging physical and digital, allowing you to be able to engage not just one-to-one, but one-to-many. And you think about the complementary experiences with gamified education. How many of you like to work out? Okay, you probably heard about this great new workout. It's called MAS. You've heard of the great new workout? It's called Malcolm at School. Now, Malcolm is my 6-year-old nephew. And what a workout, because My sister tricked me. She said, guess what? You just got to watch him for a little bit. But she didn't tell me that the school that I was giving him to was actually in my living room. And it was him sitting down watching this teacher on a video screen. Trying to keep a 6-year-old kid occupied in that is work. But then as soon as it was over, I said, how about let's play a video game? That 6-year-old kid transformed into a zombie. He was zone-faced looking. Imagine being able to create that same experience from an education perspective, right? The ability to create every school experience ultimately turns into a field trip. You think about the digital experience associated with talent. $64 billion we lose every year because we simply cannot find the right person at the right time to give us the information that we need. In a metaverse application, we can address those situations and address those problems. And my favorite, the ability for us to ultimately create a mixed reality immersive experience. We know when you hear about NEOM, you're sitting in New York. Are you gonna get on a plane and just blindly travel 20 hours to go check out this new city? No, we understand that. So you're gonna go on and say, hey, I heard about this new city, but let me check it out on this multiverse platform. Oh, this is great. And let me go and buy a digital apartment and I can engage, I can create content, I'm having a great time. And then as more people start buying these digital apartments, we send you a note and it says, hey, check this out. We're gonna build your apartment for real. Are you interested? You go, oh, this is great, but I don't like humidity. And this guy, Joseph, said it wasn't humid, but I don't know if he's really telling me the truth. And before I spend all this money in this apartment, I might wanna teleport in. So let me upgrade my subscription. So now I'm sitting at my desk, I can peer as a hologram and I have the ability to engage with those in NEOM and say, hey, is it truly dry as he said it is? If he says yes, great, I'm all in. I'm able to purchase that type of apartment or that type of building. So I want to talk to you about some golden rules. If you want to execute a metaverse, I want you to realize rule number 1. Inclusion is the currency of the metaverse. It is a people platform. That means by definition, the more people you participate, the greater the value of the platform. It's not about 7 million people, it's about 7 billion that you want to touch. If you want to touch those 7 billion, you got to go beyond digital divides. You got to have connectivity prevalent. You got to go beyond ability. What is the metaverse like if you can't see? What is the metaverse like if you can't hear? What's the metaverse like if you have a disability? That is fully inclusive. And you have to go beyond borders. It's not about the people that just live in the city. It's about the people the city can impact. So diversity is one thing, only the potential to create value. You can have a diverse room, but if this room is not engaging, inclusion is the realization of value by driving full participation. Second golden rule. Now, on this one, I'm gonna need some help. So, where's my millennials in the audience? Oh boy, come on millennials, where you at? Okay, very cool. And Generation Z's in the audience, okay, very cool. And people that wanna be a millennial, raise your hand and generate, okay, you're all in the audience, very good, very good. This next one, I'm gonna need your help on. I'm gonna need your help on this one. The physical is an add-on to the digital, The physical is an add-on to the digital. It's not the other way around. If you're trying to drive an inclusive environment, by definition, you want to include the maximum people. The physical world has limitations. You can only have so many people in the city. But if you want to touch 7 billion, you got to understand the physical augments the digital. Now, you know this to be true inherently. You know when you go to an e-commerce platform, some of the most valued companies in the world, they didn't start up by building a building. What did they do? They started digitally. And then they went in and augmented and started buying stores to accent the digital. If you look at the Fortune 500 balance sheets, 40 years ago, they were dominated by physical assets. Now, 90% of those balance sheets are digital assets. I know this is tough, and I'm not saying the physical world doesn't matter. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm telling you, though, that if you believe the metaverse is inclusive and is for everyone, the physical world by definition is limited. And so you have it, but it augments the digital. That is a core concept that if you want to execute, you have to be able to grasp that. Now, the movement between the two creates huge opportunities. As I move from the physical world to the digital world, that's where the monetization occurs. That's where value creation occurs. Myriad ways, whether it's branding, virtual content, NFTs, you've heard the various stories. It's this movement that creates value. Gucci, I love this concept. If you don't know, if you read Gucci, if you go to their income statement, you'll see a name on there that says Lori Bradley. That's my wife. She's actually on the Gucci statement when she goes and loves to buy, right? So Gucci sold what? What do? They got this great purse line, but they made a digital version of the physical purse. They made a digital version of the physical purse. Some of you ladies are like, ooh, yes, you can hide that one too. You can buy as many of those you need to, those digital versions, right? You don't have to have space in your house. You don't have to go by Muji and figure out how to pack them in, right? Not with the digital versions. They paid what? 20% more for the digital version than they paid for the physical version. I don't know why, but they did, right? These are opportunities to create value. So when you think about how do you execute, and we'll leave you with this, how do you execute this? Number one experience at a time. Don't try to bite this whole elephant whole. Don't try to create this massive world and try to get all the experience in. Focus on, I want to improve an education experience. If you're an enterprise, focus on, I want to improve onboarding. If you're an enterprise, focus on, I want to improve collaboration. Focus on a core element of the experience. Secondly, Metaverse. It's not a purely digital world. That doesn't count. It's not purely a physical city. That doesn't count. It's the duality of the experience. It's the ability to blend both worlds together that creates the value. And finally, probably one of the hardest things people understand, once you apply a metaverse to something, what does that mean? That means that platform economics rule the metaverse. That means by definition, if you apply a metaverse to a city, it becomes a meta city. That means it follows platform economics. The more people you engage, the more inclusive, the more value the platform becomes. Just that simple. Just that simple. Now I get that there is a fine line between radical innovation and wishful thinking. And you're right, we're pushing it. We want you to be bold, we want you to be courageous, we want you to join the movement. Thank you guys very much.